Well, where are we today, Teen?
Well, we are actually back from the trailer.
Wasn't that cold?
It was freezing.
That was Monday. Yet today, beautiful weather.
It's just like summer. Look, we're in short sleeves.
It's always warm in the apartment.
This is very true, isn't it?
So I thought we should have a little chat about finances. What do you think?
I think that's a really good idea.
And specifically the cost of living, because everybody has to pay to live.
They absolutely do, yes. And you know, one thing I was going to say is, like, Norm, are we actually throwing away our money renting?
Absolutely, Teen. We're growing poorer by the minute.
And I guess you're going to say married to me, that was another reason.
I would never say that. You're an asset.
Oh, great.
But the thing about this whole question, renting, it's throwing your money away, that's what we used to think as homeowners.
We did, didn't we?
You remember that?
Absolutely. All the time we had houses. Yeah.
And here we were being mortgage poor, no money, yet we thought people who rented were
crazy
people. So it's the exact opposite. Basically, we have learned a lot since we've been renting this last 5 years.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
And the opinion is the exact opposite that we found, that renting is building an asset.
Which is pretty amazing, really, isn't it?
It is.
So when you think about it, we've been here 5 years now.
We have.
So when we first moved in, basically what happened was you take out a lease and you are freezing what you're paying at the market rate of that time.
And the reason you're freezing it is because we live in a province that has rent control. And so because of that, the landlords are only allowed to put the rent up by a government mandated amount. So providing you're in good standing with your rental payments, they can only increase it by a certain amount each year.
That's true, isn't it?
So the other thing that balances that argument is that if we left our apartment to move somewhere else, then the landlord could put this apartment up to market value, which is a lot more than what the annual rates would have been.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at the rates, Norm, that we've actually been paying the last 4 years, we've had relatively small ones, haven't we, of like 1.8%.
That's right, each year.
Now this next year is a little higher at 2.2%.
It is.
But that's okay, because it works out to be a very small amount, really, in the realm of things, doesn't it?
It does. So if we went to rent another apartment in this town where we live, it's going to cost us, we worked out, between $300 to $400 more per month to get the same thing that we have right now.
I know, that's amazing. So if you look at an average of, say, let's call it 400, we're talking about nearly 5,000 a year that it would cost us to move back into
our own apartment.
To move back into our own apartment, which is kind of crazy.
So now we're building an asset, and the other piece of the jigsaw to this asset, and our argument about it, is that also in this province, we have the right as tenants to sublet our apartment. So now we know that these rents are going for $300 to $400 more per month than we're currently paying. If we wanted to move somewhere else, we could hold onto this lease, sublet, and put $5,000 a year into our pocket as income.
Yeah, that sounds another of our bright ideas, doesn't it, Norm?
It really does. So that's where rent can become an asset and not a liability.
Absolutely. But you know what, Norm? One of the things that people have talked about and we're aware of too is that a lot of people are concerned about legacy for their children and grandchildren.
Yes.
And some people are confused when they think you move into that renting market that you haven't got that house to leave them. So maybe you could explain a little more to, it's actually the reverse, isn't it, for us?
Yeah, we've had several comments in the comment sections of some of these finance ideas that we have. And Tina's right. A lot of people are worried that renting, they wouldn't have a legacy to give to their children of a home, of the family home. And there's 2 points. We've been through where our parents have passed away, and as the children, in my instance, my brother and I got the family house. But it was a blessing and a curse because we had to clear out the family house of 58 years worth of stuff.
A lot of hard work for you, wasn't it?
Turned out my dad was a bit of a hoarder in the garage. And so anyway, we had a lot of work to turn that house around, clean it out, and sell it for us to realize the asset. So that's one point. And the other point is, once you have your capital out of your house, I came up with this little story, didn't I? Tina loved it.
I loved this story.
So if you think about the capital you get from selling your house as being an orchard, so it's an orchard full of trees, full of apple trees, or if you're in Florida, full of orange trees. And so every year when the apples come, you don't chop the tree down to harvest the apples.
Hopefully not.
So you take the apples, which we will use as the euphemism for interest. So the tree stays behind and you eat the apples.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with your capital. If you invest it in reasonable investments that are safe for the future, that comply to your risk tolerance, then all you're doing is spending the interest and you're leaving the capital as your legacy for your children.
Which, when you think about it, sort of eating the apples is not taking away, is it, from the main thing?
I'm not really fond of apples that much.
And in actual fact, I think that our kids would think that it's a great idea. They don't have a house to sell. It's already set up.
That's right. So the other, just in closing, the other thing about renting to consider is the mobility aspect. We have sold about 8 houses in our marriage. We moved around a wee bit. And they can take up to a year to sell.
Yeah.
Our last house probably was 2 years.
Yeah, from start to thinking about it.
Because we're in the countryside.
There aren't as many buyers, are there?
No, there weren't. So all of our dreams of coming into this apartment and living a new life took 18 months to 2 years to come to fruition. Whereas anybody renting can just give the notice, either 30 or 60 days, and you're gone. You're gone to your new life. So
that's just another positive thing, isn't it?
It really is. So we just really wanted to leave that with you. Keep eating the apples and don't chop the tree down.
And then you've got the legacy for the children.
You do indeed. So this was just another one of our brainwaves.
Yeah, to sort of...
And we're so glad you could join us.
But we also hope that everybody is staying safe.
Staying well.
And enjoying life at the minute.
Yeah, have a great weekend, great week, great day.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.